Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to go over a poaching guide for you. Poaching is an ability you can learn as a thief. If you get the killing blow on a monster, you will be able to poach the item, take it to one of the shops, and then sell it to them, and you'll be able to get some poaching exclusive gear. Some of the best in the game is only available through poaching. And the easiest way for me to show you this is using the wonderful Final Fantasy Tactics companion guide. This is an app on your phone, iOS or Android, or you can use the web version. I will link all three in the description of the video below, as well as the creator, Zazie Rainy Day. There is a way to support the creator as well if you want to donate. But regardless, I'm going to go over the poaching guide. I have been playing this game forever, so I know which monsters you want to poach and not, and how you can capture the monster is also another way to really help you. You can learn the orator skill called Tame, and whenever you bring a monster from regular HP to critical HP, that is when a monster then is on its knees, it then becomes tamed and becomes part of your group. You leave the battle, you can then accept to have the monster be part of your group, and at that point it'll be in your party to where it will continue to make eggs the more you walk around the map. This is a great way to get level 2 and level 3 monsters early, as well as continue to make sure you have a steady source of level 2 and level 3 monsters to poach. So what do I mean by level 2 and level 3 monsters? If you're new to Final Fantasy Tactics, this will be very apparent when I show you. So we're going to go to view the monsters, and the easiest way for me to do this is to apply a filter. We're going to do poachable, and we're going to do monster family. I'm going to skip over the ones that don't have anything important. Chocobo is a great place to start. You get the Chocobo very early in Act 1, and you can hold on to it and it'll keep having eggs, and eventually you might get lucky and there'll be a red Chocobo. The red Chocobo has a poachable barrette, which is great. It's the rare poach, which means that usually about a 1 out of 5 chance that you bring it to be poached, you'll get the rare as opposed to the common, so it'll take a few tries. But the barrette gives you a very small HP bonus, but it makes you immune to so many of the bad status effects that you can get hit with in the game. So very important to wear if you're going to be going up against a strong debuffer. Otherwise, Chocobos, really not much else that you care about with getting them. So get the yellow Chocobo early and then hold on to it. The goblins we're not worried about. The bombs, not worried about either. The panthers, they have a 3rd level panther, which is called the vampire cat. The vampire cat has the crocodile bag. This is a very expensive bag, which you can get early. That gives you a pretty nice weapon stats, and you can sell it for a decent amount too. It's not crazy useful, but as you can see, it's got a pretty decent price tag, so you can save yourself a lot of money by getting these. And the original Red Panther, you can get very early in the game, so you can just stash one of those, have it keep having eggs, and then eventually you'll end up with a bunch of vampire cats that you can bring into battle every so often and poach. Next monster we're going to go over is going to be not the Pisco Demon, not the Skeleton, not the Ghoul. It'll be the Floating Eye. The Floating Eye are great for knives. The 2nd level, the Ahriman, gives you the Air Knife as a rare, as well as the Fuma Shuriken. Both of these are great for ninjas. This is great for thieves also. But the Air Knife has 10 weapon damage, weapon power, which is pretty decent for a knife. So really nice to have. That would make your thief or your ninja much stronger. And the same goes for the Plague Whore. The Plague Whore has the Zwill Straight, which has a 12 weapon power. So very strong knife for you to have. And these are very easy to get, the Floating Eyes. Again, tame one, it'll eventually crack some eggs with some of these. The next monster we're going to go over is going to be the Jura Avis. These are the flying birds. It's going to be the Cockatrice, the 3rd level. The Cockatrice has the Featherweave Cloak. As you can see, it's got a decent price tag. Featherweave Cloak has a really nice evasion property to it. So I would recommend having some of those that help you, especially if you're trying to avoid attacks from enemies. And again, the beginning Ivalice is easy to get. I think you can get him in chapter, you can get him in chapter 1 as soon as you get the desert area, which is pretty close into the game. Or pretty early into the game, I should say. The next set of monsters we're going to go over is going to be the most unassuming, but probably one of the best, other than some of the late game ones, is the pig. Now the pig, let's see here, you can get the basic pig in chapter 4 at Fort Beslet. You can actually get it before that. If you start chapter 4, and then right as soon as you begin it, you can do the side quest, go to Gaug, and start the side quest to get Beowulf and Race. When you're doing the Golan mines, the coal mines, the second or third, I think it's the third mission, you can get a pig, you can tame it. And then the pig, that has the Kashwa. This is very difficult to get. I'm not sure you can buy it. Yeah, you can only steal it from a boss. This boss fight is very hard to steal from. You'll probably end up dying trying to steal from it. So it is much nicer to get it from the pig. This also gives you, it's a hair dome. It's kind of like the Barret that we went over earlier, except it gives you a different slew of immunities. Basically, if you combine this and the Barret together, you would be immune to pretty much everything, but you can't wear them both at once. But they're two halves of a coin, basically. So really nice to be able to get that from the pig as opposed to stealing it in that mission, because that is a very tough one. The next level of the pig, the swine, they have a common chance of the Shantids, which is nice. That's Re-Raise and Regan. Very nice to have on you starting a battle in your accessory spot. The Nagnarok is kind of a joke. It's got a weapon power of 1. Nice to have. It's cool, but doesn't really, you're not going to use it in a battle. And then the Wild Boar, which isn't in the game. Yeah, you can't get this if you don't breed it. So make sure you breed it. Ribbon as a common, which is pretty much immune to everything. So this is the best of both worlds between the two mentioned. Only 10 HP though. And the Falling Star bag, which has a whopping 20 weapon power as a bag. So very, very nice there. Next, we are going to go over the Imps, the Dryads. Now the Dryad, the second form, the Treant, has a fairy harp as a rare reward, which is really good. It's really strong for a harp. And also inflicts charm, which is very, very useful. So nice to have that. And the Dryad you can get as early as chapter 2. The Elder Treant has an awesome Defender Night Sword as a rare. Night Swords are awesome. They use your Brave, which you can manipulate in the game by casting praise on yourself over and over again from your Orator. You do that a bunch of times in a battle, you'll start to get a small permanent bonus after the battle, so you can raise your Brave permanently by doing that by small amounts over and over again. The Wisekin, these guys hit like a tank. The Secret has an awesome Holy Lance as the common. So this is kind of backwards. You would think this would be reversed. The Holy Lance is awesome because it has a weapon power of 14 and it has an elemental of Holy and it has a chance of casting Holy. So you can whack someone with this, do a huge amount of damage, and then afterwards have the spell Holy be cast. So you can do a ton of damage with the Holy Lance and you can do Holy damage. So very cool there. You can get the Wisekin very early in the game, as you can see here. Next, we're going to go over the Malboro, classic Final Fantasy enemy. The Malboro, something I wanted to mention here is it's weak to ice, which I think is funny because you can actually get an ice shield as the rare. The Platinum Dagger is alright, 5. The ice shield, it isn't super amazing, but what's really cool is that you absorb ice. So you can actually equip this and then cast like blizzard on your characters or any sort of damaging ice magic, and that will turn into health regeneration for them. The Ochu, I don't think, yeah, both of these are pretty common to get. The Great Malboro, though, has an elixir, which is the common, and that heals you both HP and mana, MP, and the Omnilex, which is an awesome book weapon. So the Malboro, I think you can get in chapter 3. You can get in chapter 2 and 3 from the Augury Woods, one of the beginning battles. Just need to run that a few times and they'll eventually show up. Next, we'll go over the Behemoth. Behemoth's got some awesome stuff. The regular Behemoth has the Panther skin bag, which does a weapon power of 12, but this also costs a ton if you buy it in the store, so you can save yourself a lot of money by poaching it. It's nice to start with the Behemoth so you can get the other ones. Behemoth you can start in chapter 4. It's kind of hard. The other ones are rare spawns, so it's nice to be able to get a Behemoth and start with that so you can get your others, because the Behemoth King, which shows off in a couple areas, but again, it's harder to get. As your common, you get this perfume called the Shirshi? Probably saying that wrong. That gives you float and reflect. It's not amazing. I'd rather have the Regen and the Raise, but the Artemis bow is the rare. Is a great bow to have. Gives you a nice weapon damage formula as a bow. So that's a great reward to get. The Dark Behemoth, though. These ones have the Wizard Rod, which is common. You'll be able to buy that in chapter 4, but the Stone Shooter. The Stone Shooter is a really powerful gun which inflicts stone and has amazing weapon power. Extremely powerful. The Dark Behemoth, you've got 2 areas, but again, they're very rare to have them show up. So it's easy to get one of these first Behemoths and then have them crack some eggs. Now, next we have the Dragon. As you would expect, Dragon's got some pretty cool rewards. Your red dragon or your green dragon doesn't really have very much. Blue dragon doesn't really have too much either. The Cashmere is good. It's not amazing. The Dragon Rod is decent. The whole thing is, though, you want to get a green dragon. You can actually get them as early as chapter 1. That will take a lot of grinding. That is an extremely rare pull if you find a green dragon in Dragon 1 and chapter 1, but otherwise they're more common as you play. The blue dragons, you can get 2 of them, and actually the same map that I mentioned earlier with the pig. There's 2 in that map on when you're going to get Beowulf, so you can actually tame both of them there and greatly increase your odds of hatching a red dragon. Now, red dragons, they'll kick your butt if you fight them, but you'll be able to get a common Sortilege perfume, which gives you Protect and Shell, which is amazing as an accessory. And then the awesome Dragon Whisker, super powerful lance that you can use for your dragoons. Of course, the dragon would have a weapon for the dragoons, right? That's poetic. Now, the last bit is going to be the Hydra. Basically, if you come into a battle with a Hydra, you better poach it or tame it. Ideally, you want to tame it so you can do more, because they're very hard to come by. Even the low level one, you've got one area they come by. And they poach the Blood Sword. The Blood Sword is really cool. You can't buy this anywhere in the game. The Blood Sword you can steal from a certain boss at a fight, and then you can find it as a move find treasure, or you can catch it if an enemy throws it at you. Otherwise, you have to poach it. It's not super powerful, but it absorbs HP when you attack. So if you equip 2 of those, or just 1, you can kind of have it as a way to heal yourself. Scorpion Tail, super strong flail, weapon power of 23. Flails, by the way, are like axes, where you see that 23, it doesn't always hit 23. 23 is the max, so it's really inconsistent, but it can go up to 23. Whereas opposed to a sword, you see a sword with a 9, it's going to always do 9 as far as the weapon power. Now the Great Hydra, you've got 1 shot for them, and you can get the Septime, which is going to give you haste and invisible and +1 magic. I mean, that is insane. That is a fantastic combo. And then the rubber suit, which is a huge HP bonus, and it's going to completely negate lightning damage to you. So really fantastic. The Tiamat, the big dog, you got one spot for that as well. Wormweave silk, amazing silk for your dancer. And then the whale whisker, which is the best pole that you can get in the game. So that is your guide to poaching. Those are the monsters you want to keep on the lookout for. Again, my recommendation is that you keep a look for those level 1 monsters. Okay, the first level monsters, that way you can have one as you play the game, especially when you're doing things like errands and walking around the map a lot. You're going to have a lot of eggs pop, and that'll increase your chance of getting these 3rd level spawns and 2nd level spawns that have these great items that you can poach from them. And then go into a battle, bring 1 or 2, depending on how confident you are in winning the battle, and then send it out a little bit, let it get hurt by the enemy, and then make sure you do the finishing blow with your character who has the poach ability slotted in their passive, and then bring that to the poacher, and hopefully you'll get that rare that you're looking for, or that common. All right, well, that does it for me. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Again, give this a like and a subscribe. If you had a good time here, if you learned something new, take a look at my channel for lots of Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles content for tips and tricks. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.